What is happiness? Is it family, friends, maybe even when you find that perfect spot in your bed and you just cannot, it's just so comfortable that you just cannot fathom getting out of it? I don't think so. I think happiness comes when you are filthy rich. Which brings me to the quote, "I'm only in this for the money," by Han Solo. Now, look at the celebrities who have money. Justin Bieber, for example, he's a multimillionaire. And people look at him and say, wow, he's so unhappy, he's so depressed, somebody needs to step in. No. That guy has enough money to where he can crash his Ferrari and buy a new one, then proceed to buy a monkey and leave it in Germany. If you have that much money, what are your problems? I mean, for another example, look at Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street. He almost made $1 million a week for an entire year. Now, his biggest problem was, which drug am I going to take today, and how am I going to fly this helicopter when I'm all jacked up on drugs? I mean, the problems of the rich who have money are seemingly ridiculous. I mean, look at Charlie Sheen. I mean, his biggest problem was, once again, where am I going to get my drugs, and am I going to get caught with my drugs? I mean, the bottom line is, if you have money, the problems are smaller. I mean, your problems are not whether or not you can afford rent, or whether or not you can, where am I going to live, where am I going to sleep in the next couple of days. It turns out to be, what do I want to do, what party do I want to go to? And we are human, as human creatures, we are creatures of interaction, and we like to be around people. And sure, that may be where happiness comes from, but if you have a ton of money, and you have all the power, you have all the money in the world to go wherever you want to, you can be greedy and happy and fake it. At least money gives you the power to fake happiness. So when people say, oh, I'm not in this for the money, and I just really love this. Sure, they may be true, but half of them are lying, because money makes things a lot sweeter. And those people who don't have money know how money can improve your life. So when people sit there and say, oh, it's not about the money for me, it totally is. And that's why I think Han Solo was completely on point when he said, I'm only in this for the money, because a lot of people in this world are.
All right, I like the rhetorical question at the beginning, and then the switch that you have. Your point of view is clearly stated. I think that was interesting. There's not really a preview and any plan structure in the speech. You start off with examples, and it sounds like your speech is really just going to be a series of examples. As it turns out, that's really one section of your speech, and it would be easier to figure that out if you'd laid that out for us. The examples that you have, I think, are pretty effective. They illustrate the point that you were trying to make there. I thought that was okay. And then, you're switching topic areas. You kind of have another direction that you're going to go there. But because it hasn't been laid out, it's not as clear as it should be, and you kind of wander around on that subject. Your voice projects very well, and I think there's good variety there. Excuse me. There were some indicators while you were speaking. I thought that was good. You generally look like you were engaged with your facial expressions there. Your eye contact, you have a tendency sometimes, especially in the beginning of the speech, to kind of look to the sky or look off to the sides instead of engaging people. You're not hiding from people, but your eye contact seems indirect. And your body movement it feels a little bit like you're kind of shaking your hips a little bit, and you're not wandering around with your feet, but you've got this kind of ants in the pants sort of thing, where that's where all your nervous energy is coming out there. So you want to try and control that. I did like the exit line at the end of the speech and the way that you kind of set up, and you finished off well, and that leave the audience with a good impression. That's a solid way to end. All right, thank you.